You're willing to repeal some of Governor Charlie Crist's vetoes. How soon would you try to repeal it, and when and where?
Well, we've been talking about that a lot for the right reasons. So these are bills that passed unanimously or close to unanimously. Republicans and Democrats support. And when the governor vetoed it, it was a shock to all of us. And so we'll have an opportunity, what's called the organizational session, 2 weeks after Election Day, to take a look at these. Republicans and Democrats alike have said, look, why did they veto them? Let's override them. All we need is a 2/3 vote. And so I anticipate 6 or 7 bills coming through the process this year, which will be overridden. A lot of them, one right here in the University of Florida, Shands is one of those. Another one is an ag bill that protects private property rights. These are all on the table. We're taking a look at every veto and see which ones will override in just 2 weeks after Election Day.
Now, tell me what else is going on in the U.S. You're going to be the majority leader in the Senate, correct?
I'll be the president of the Senate. And we have the opportunity to go to 26 out of 40 to 28 out of 40, meaning we'll have a veto-proof majority in the Florida Senate. But more importantly, from my perspective, we'll have a conservative Senate for the first time in my lifetime. A Senate that is really not just campaigning as conservatives, but have a track record of being conservatives. I'm a strong fiscal conservative, as you know. I'm pushing for an idea called smart cap, that government spending never grows faster than family income.
Now, considering the unconstitutional mandates such as like Obamacare, something that you've opposed, and I assume that you were willing to repeal, and all these unfunded mandates that have shackled the state and other states, do you support an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would give 2/3 of the states the power to repeal anything that Congress does, like Obamacare?
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, we're a nation that's formed, the states came together to form one big nation. And I think what's happened right now is a power grab. That's the reason why I've been from day one against Obamacare. I joined Bill McCollum in that lawsuit. And what we're hoping to do is that if nothing else, we get a waiver, much like we did with welfare reform back in 1996. And that's where states can have its own version of Medicaid, because Medicaid is $20 billion out of a $70 billion budget. The one-size-fits-all plan that's coming out of Washington doesn't work. We want to give flexibility, and that's why I traveled the state this summer with my wife, who's a medical doctor, to find out how we can have a more flexible system that works for patients first and provides higher quality access. Medicaid is a broken system, and that's why I'm aggressively against it. And I hope that when Marco and others get up to Washington, they'll actually repeal Obamacare, because it doesn't work and it's not going to serve patients well.
Now, following up on that, there's a movement right now among states and state leaders, especially the state of Virginia, and Speaker Howell to file an Article 5 application to repeal for the repeal amendment in their state legislatures. Right now, there's about 5 states on board. Do you think that Florida would consider making an application to the Congress for the repeal amendment in the upcoming session?
I do. Speaker Howell and I actually know each other. We've spoken on the phones on many occasions, and we met recently in Atlanta at a different conference. He's an outstanding speaker in Virginia, conservative. And again, it's just standing up for states' rights. If we don't stand up, then the 10th Amendment is meaningless. I believe in states' rights. It's a shared responsibility. It's called federalism, what I teach right here at the University of Florida. And for us not to stand up for states' rights would be to undermine the Constitution. And the way they did it in Washington is wrong, and I think it's the reason why Republicans are going to have a big day November 2nd.
Now, you're obviously supporting Marco Rubio in the Senate race. Right now it's looking pretty good for him. Do you have anything upcoming with Marco as far as the campaign trail, bus tour?
Yeah, on Friday we're going to be in the bus tour. I have the honor to be the MC at our event in Melbourne. And I was just with him last Friday, as you know, down in Miami, raising some more money because he deserves it, and we need to have our positive message out there. And just, in fact, also last Friday, Speaker Creedle and I were in the Villages talking about how now, just like Lawton Childs did against Jeb Bush, trying to scare seniors about Social Security, we stood up for Marco and his plan. Right. And on election night, I'm looking forward to being down with Marco, winning big, and more importantly, sending a person to Washington, D.C. who's not an empty suit, a person who can really hit the ground running and make a change so that we empower people, not Washington, D.C. And
then lastly, political aspirations. Do you have any moving forward? Have you thought of any races or anything that would interest you?
Well, I've been very blessed. I'm the first person from Brevard County to become the president of the Senate in a long time, but more importantly, I'm still the youngest member of our caucus. And I'm excited about taking over as the leader of the Senate. From my fellow senators, we'll have a 28-12 majority if all things work out well in the second. A lot of people have approached me about going to Washington. My perspective is this: if I do a good job as president of the Senate, I think I'll have a lot of opportunities. If I don't deserve any opportunities to move on up. But this is a huge time for Florida. My goal was simple when I went to the Florida Senate. Make it a more fiscally conservative place. We've clearly transformed the Florida Senate. And now we need to make not just the numbers, let's win that battle. The war is changing policies in our state. Said our state is open for business again. And right now I feel there are too many limitations in our state. Unfortunately, a lot of them come from Washington. That's why I think a lot of people were asking me what I'm going to do after I'm Senate President. But hey, first things first, do my job I have now. I'm blessed. I can't wait to get started on November 3rd and really move this state forward and make sure that people come here, create jobs, so that all of us are blessed with the same opportunities that I've been blessed with.